few. We living in a century where we living on lies. Society said the girls and we have to comply. We gonna play with you if we don't get reviews. Not for we get broken and we fall into the news. But it's all the brothers say we gonna take a stand. Representing hope, braving in the brand. We gonna take a brother hand in hand and empower any veins, every boy, every man. Let me, I just want to read my life slowly. Look close, 'cause DJ, turn that music up, yes, turn it up loud. Never make it stop, take the message to the bar. This is how we do it, cause we talk the truth to power. Walking in the spirit, walking in the water. Happy that we blessed, full 100. Walking in forgiveness, full 100. Healing from disease, full 100. Totally redeemed, full 100. Strength of the youth, full 100. Friendly with the truth, full 100. Free from oppression, full 100. Are we on a mission, full 100.
Hello my people, good evening. Mike at Nite is on. Thank you very much for joining us. We always appreciate having you with us every week on Mike at Nite. Alright, so we're live and alive. Let me see if we could correct some color stuff there. Good evening all those who have joined us. Nice to see you, Timothy. Heather Atkins, good to see you. Pleasant good evening, Pamela. Good to have you. I'm seated in the classroom, she says, and eagerly waiting for class to commence. Yep. We're going to start. We're going to have a nice one tonight. But my boy Lawrence and all early, when you see that, what is this? Go to Lawrence. Kenneth Hodge, have a seat. All the rock and come in, man. All the rock and come in. Joy, good to see you. Let me just give a shout out to all those great people that I had the fortunate opportunity to meet in Guyana. I came in this morning actually. Make sure that I came back for this program. Wayne Hackett, good evening. Nice, good to have you. Patsy King, right, nicely. Madeline Pierre, all of you all. Yes, so I came in from Guyana this morning, and I tell you, the people in Guyana have been so hospitable. Let me say hello to Sandra Lamb, who celebrated her birthday yesterday. I got a chance to meet with her, to be able to connect with her. Yesterday, no, the day before, to connect with her. To all you Guyana people, nice in the house. And that great time that you all gave me, I appreciate it so very much. Alright, so while we are at it, just share the live to somebody, and if you have not subscribed to the pages yet, please subscribe so that it will start taking traction whenever it comes up. you'll be able to notify, because sometimes you forget that we are going live. You'll be notified that we are going live. All right. So if you do wish to call in, you can call the number that's at the top. That number is 868-480-0080. For private counseling, you could call that number also. We do provide that private confidential counseling. That don't neglect that. Don't neglect to go to the mechanic. If your vehicle is giving trouble, you would save yourself a lot of trouble if you go early and not wait until the transmission break down and the engine freeze up. All right, nice. A few things that I want to remind you of. I want to share with you. I told you about some of the books that I've written, and this is one of them. This is the latest one. There's the one. This one is 7 Keys to Unlock the Mystery of Women. I was asked to write this so many years ago, and I always hesitated to do that because I felt that that woman needs to write that. People felt that they wanted to still have me write it, so I co-opted with my wife. And so now we have that book out, the 7 Keys to Unlock the Mystery of Women. If you go online on this one is not going to be unpublished. It is not going to be published just yet. It will be published in a day or two, but I'm just giving you notice that it is coming out. But this one is out, which is the 7 Keys to Unlock the Mystery of Men. That one is already out. It's an updated edition. Helps women to understand men and help men to understand themselves and to explain themselves. The one with women, it goes deep into helping women to be able to understand who they are and the value that they bring. But it also helps men to understand how women think and how women behave. That's going to be very interesting. This other book that I brought out is From Courtship to Marriage. From Courtship to Marriage really tries to help people to understand the stages you have to go through during courtship and some of the things that will take place during marriage. So it is for a courting person and for a married person, because a lot of married people have their own challenges and their own issues. And this gives you guidance and gives a workbook also at the back to help you to manage and become successful in your own relationships. All right. So that's did I cover all of them? I didn't tell about this one, which is mastering emotions. One of the hardest things to control is yourself, your emotions. And so we have a little difficulty in mastering our emotions, and we need to be able to find a way to do so. This one is a religious book, The Argument for Baptism and the One True Church, Believing Right and Practicing Right. It's a very interesting book, and I would recommend that people get it particularly. And then Life in Balance, because we need to have our lives in a very balanced format. That one is also out and available. Just go to Amazon. Just go to the Amazon and you see, because a lot of people live in their life off balance and their lives are in flux. They put too much in one area, work too hard, and they lose their family. And you were working for your family and you lost your family. Sometimes we do have our lives in balance. Right? And then what I did, I have a devotional book. This devotional book, this page was corrected with the error in it. 1 year, 1 day at a time devotional. It gives you 365 devotions to go through for the year, and you could just repeat that the next year because you'll never remember all of them. All right, so just go to Amazon and you could get your book and any one of the books, or you could be able to give them as gifts to somebody who you think it may bring value to. Alright, so let's just take a short break and then we'll come right back to you. Alright, this song, Full 100, A lady sent me a 3-year-old daughter dancing to the song. She said every time Mike and Nite comes on and that song plays, that girl starts to dance. She was so cute. Alright, just a few seconds, we'll be right back.
You've been faithful, Lord. You've been faithful.
Oh Lord, I'm glad you know my name. You set my heart aflame. You set my feet on a solid rock to stay. I'm glad I made this choice. You've given me a voice, and now I can rejoice.
Watch the gold move. They call me Mr. Diligent. When me meet a please the Lord, I'm dining with the president. Thankful for my warriors who bring me through the testament. Calling on my warriors, calling on my warriors. Everything me put me heart to doing it for 100. Time to praise the Lord, we see me praising him for 100. Working in the ministry, we working it for 100. Working it for 100. Working it for 100. Everything we put we have to doing it for 100. Time to praise the Lord, we see me praising him for 100. Working in the ministry, we working it for 100. Working it for 100.
Oh Lord, I'm glad you know my name. You set my heart aflame. You set my feet on a solid rock.
Okay. Yeah. Taking a little sip there. So, there are 6 crossroads you will meet in your relationships. Tonight is going to be interesting because I need you to be able to know your crossroads that you will meet in your relationship. 6 crossroads. One of those crossroads is when most people get divorced. So, I'm sure that you will be able to recognize it when we actually hit it. 6 crossroads, or 6 phases, some people call it, or 6 junctions also you can refer to it. Alright? And so all of these will contribute towards the relationship quality that you are going to be experiencing. Right. So let me see if I could get them the 6 lined up, because I know some of you are a little lazy, so I decided to write them down on the screen for you. Yeah, because I love you all. I know how you all are, and so on. I don't like to write, but you all follow me. So 1 is the dream phase. The dream phase of the relationship. What is this dream phase? You see, when you fall in love and you meet somebody and you're hot over heels and you're head over heels with it, everything just seems so perfect. When you talk about the person, you'll swear, when you hear your friend talk about this person that they met, that this is the best person since sliced bread. They're deeply into each other. They want to spend almost every minute of the day together. They want to spend so much time on the telephone. And they're asking, why did you all have to talk so much? Well, you know, they're in love. You remember it? You had your days. All of you all had your days with that. So, you know what it's like. And it's as though nothing could burst the bubble. That dream phase, come on. All of us pass through it. Almost like an infatuation. Is that dream come through. Hey, my goodness there. You know what it is like. So that excitement phase is really a dream. You know why I figure it's a dream? It's not gonna last. You see that hot flash that they get every time you see them and you hear their voice, and you pick up the phone and you realize they're on the next end. Well, now you could tell that they're on the next end because your cell phone would bring up the number. A long time you just pick it up and then you hear the voice and so on. And you get goosebumps. Some of us are a little too old to remember. Yes, and it's so far back. But anyway, so those periods of the dreaming phase. Precious phase. Precious time. But it's not going to last. Remember that and start dealing with it as though it will not last. Okay? So, we go on to the next phase now. This next phase is called the learning phase. The learning phase. Right? Take notes, people. The learning phase. It is at this phase. I don't know how long it takes. It takes different period of time depending on how often you all meeting each other and so on. But in the dream phase, you could watch a couple go down the road and tell they're in dream phase. They're holding each other's hand and they're watching up in each other's face, sitting next to each other and so on. You know that is dream phase. And half of them don't know this is not going to last. They think this is it for the rest of their life. For them. Anyway, then you have the learning phase when you're actually beginning to learn the person. It is at this phase that you're beginning to have a greater understanding how they think, how they behave, how they react. It is a very trying time at this phase because you're now finding out some things about the person. Their flaws come to the fore. Right? This is about where you now become curious and gathering new information on the person and trying to get to understand them, and there are some things you never did expect, never did look for in them. But anyway, you begin to understand them. And then you go to the third phase. This third phase, my dear people, this third phase is when the person is what we call the disappointment phase. The disappointment phase. Yeah, I'm sure you all are beginning to guess at which phase people break up, divorce, separate. Disappointment. Having learned how they are and having seen the true person, now that you've settled down out of that euphoria and that heart beating, heart attack phase, you're now coming face to face with reality, and disappointment steps in. It is at this disappointment phase that people decide, this is not what I want, this is not what I signed up for. I don't want this. I want something else. And then they start all over again. So I want to stay on this phase a bit longer. Good evening, and you all post your questions if you have any questions or anything you want clarified as we're going along, because this is so crucial. Right? Master Saunders, thank you very much. Rock and Kamin. Kenneth says it's having and displaying emotions wrong, especially in men. Nope. Emotions is not a demonstration necessarily that what is wrong. It is really a compass, as some writers put it. It shows us what is happening in reality. And we should, even if they hide it, that it does not give you information. So you might as well be aware of their emotions as to what is happening. So I would not say displaying it is wrong. You need to regulate it. You need to control it, Hutch. Every one of us need to learn to control our emotions. Because as the Bible says, a man who cannot control his own spirit is like a city that is broken down without walls. Which means you could always punch that person's knobs anytime. My dear loving sister Deanne Robinson, good evening to you. Rock and Kamin, my girl. Nice to have you on board. Yes. Aaron Trevon, blessed night to you too. Thank you very much. Joanne Benjamin. Lauren says it's an imaginary expectation in the dream phase. Yeah, boy, because you always thought that dream phase would last forever. And you see so many young people getting into relationship and they really genuinely think that this thing is great, this thing would last forever, I love the way it feels. And when you tell them that that's not it, you're going to hit a bump, you're going to drop in a pothole, because that's a necessary phase that we must go through. Right now you don't know the person that well. You know the person 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. You don't know the person in that period of time. You think you know them. The real person is below the surface. In psychology and social science, we call that the iceberg effect. Iceberg is where the majority of an iceberg in the sea is below water. The piece that you see on top is just a minuscule, just a fraction of what lies below. So when the Titanic rammed into the iceberg, they would have thought the small piece on top, this ship, big man, he could break that. But the size of iceberg that would have been below was too much for the ship, that it sank an unsinkable ship. And the iceberg is when you meet somebody, only 15% of that person you actually get to meet at the once time. 15%. And you are running your whole life. Your heart is hanging on a 15% relationship, and you don't even have a clue about that. Right? So, that's it. Edwin Tulsi said they're now getting the picture. Right? Learning phase, discovery of bad habits and mannerisms. Yes. That is when you understand that there's belch in public. When you were going and courting and they were taking you for lunch and dinner, and they were making sure you order first. They were picking you up on time. They were becoming very pleasant to you. When you're driving in a vehicle behind two people who are in the euphoria phase, that dream phase, you can't tell it's two people inside of that car. Because the way how they sit down and one lean down on the next one, you only see in one head. Or the next person is on their lap. Then dream phase. And then later on, you wonder where all the fight, animosity, the venom, vitriol come about when they were so good. And by then, they already post up this person in the dream phase on Facebook. They talk about all kind of things, the love of my life and this, that and the other on Facebook. Facebook have it down pat. Less than a year later, they want to take down the thing. It's a new person they would want to put up. Right? They hit phase 3, disappointment phase. And there are some people have gone through 15 and 20 times those phases. What a life. What a life. Let me tell you, if you're out there and this thing is resonating with you, you need help. Because it could have some repercussions in your life and in your ability to have a successful relationship after. After you've passed through a number of relationships that just don't work, and you've been injured emotionally, after a while, you may lose the sensitivity to know what it is like to love somebody. I'm telling you. So, be careful. So call the number on the screen if you need help. 868-480-0080. It's on the screen on top. But let me tell you this. Even if you're not face to face, we do online for people who are overseas to get them help. So the disappointment phase. So I want to come hold on this disappointment phase for a little while. Disappointment field standards and values. Let me see what Patsy King is saying. I'm wondering why some people let their phone cause a problem in their lives. Hey, somebody sing a song, this telephone thing mashing up my life. We allow this cell phone because we use that cell phone and we do so many things with the cell phone. Now I'm understanding employers are going through your Facebook profile, your Instagram to be able to see what type of person you are. With all your qualification you have. All the qualification you have. They're going through your profile to see the kind of person you are. But anyway, telephone. So she says it is like a comfort to them that they're not seeing the picture. Yeah, you're talking to your spouse, you're talking to your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, and the person head down is on the phone. They're not listening to you. I'm guilty also, but it's the truth. So Lawrence says it's the disappointment, field standards and values. Alright. It's like a catch-22, says Heather, because when you display affection in public, you're quickly judged. To some, it's admirable, and to others, they believe it's just pretense. Who knows what's really going on in the home? I believe you should just do it. Alright, yep. Because sometimes when you're watching what's going on, I watch, and I'm always amazed with the young people and the teenagers and so on. I say, boy, if they only know what's coming down the pipe. Because it's not to say that the phase is a phase that we bring upon ourselves, that's a phase that we will go through. Because when we start with the person, we are in infatuation phase. We admire the person. We are more emphasizing on the admiration we have for the person because of their looks, because of the way how the relationship started. The romanticism is in the air. And yeah, that is alright. Enjoy that while you can. But just know that you're going to come out of dream phase just now and you're going to go into learning phase. You will see some things of that person that the 15% that you saw is not what is consistent. You see, the 85 that is below is going to come to the surface in just a while. Just give it time. This is why when you meet somebody in a relationship, don't get deep into it. Give yourself time to know the person before you actually get into the relationship with them. Because that 85%, let it start to surface. Once that starts to surface, before you actually get engaged into the relationship and you invest into the relationship, once that starts to surface, you can know, okay, let me back out before you get in. Or you can recognize that when this 85% starts to surface, you like what you see. Then you could make a decision. But don't make the decision before that 85% start to rise. Okay? Yes, Charmin, my lady. Hey, yes. Good, thank you very much. Let Brother Clancy know that I acknowledge and I got the message. Hud said, what can you say the main causes of this disappointment in relationships? Nice question, my boy. I'm going to deal with that. I will deal with that. What causes that disappointment? Alright. So, it's 6 of them. This is midway that you have your disappointment phase. Now, it is at different points in time for different people that you have this phase. So let me give you a couple of things that give us that disappointment. The things that a man see in a woman while he was in the dream phase, he is hoping that she does not change. You see that caring for him, calling, wanting to do things for him, cooking for him, and so on, and bringing things for him to eat, her affection, her listening to his stories, and so on. He's hoping that doesn't change. Poor fella. And you see the things that the woman sees in the man. She knows that he's not perfect, but she tells herself, I could change him. I could love for 2 of us and change him. So she's hoping that he will change. The man is hoping she doesn't. She's hoping that he will, because she will pick up faster on his lifestyle. Okay? So inside of that, many times the lady would have known that the man either might have cheated on her or may have things, and she works on all of that. But she working with him during that phase and figured that he would change. A man who during that phase sees a woman cheating on him, but he's not going down the road with that phase, most likely. So whatever it is he sees, he's hoping that that is it. Whatever she sees, she's hoping that he's now going to, she sees his potential, more or less. She sees his potential. The disappointment phase comes when the man recognizes during the learning phase, when he's learning about her, that the woman he saw, met, admired, and thought he loved is not that. She has issues. She has flaws. And he's now beginning to see them. Sometimes she might have a little anger issue. Sometimes she might be talking to him very disrespectful. Sometimes she might be very jealous, controlling. He's now seeing all of that. And he gets disappointed with it. Based upon how far you have already cycled this relationship down that road, may mean that you have invested too much already. Because by then, sometimes she has a child for you. So the investment is in place. The woman now recognizes that the man she thought would change, and who had promised that he would change, and who had shown potential that he would change, she gets disappointed. Same man. Same going online with the partners. He might have stopped some of them momentarily. He might have stopped drink momentarily, stopped lying so much because you all were talking late in the hours and going out so much. But now that the relationship settled down, he not spending all that time with you again, and so now she recognizes he's not changing for the better, he's changing for the worse. Disappointment hitting. So that's one of the challenges that we have. But going back now to Hodge's question, what can be the main causes? Number one, I didn't put it up there because Hodge didn't tell me he was coming with the question. Holding grudges. At this phase, people get disappointed because the things they learned about their spouse in phase 2, at the crossroads of point 2, they learned those things, and some of them would have been hurtful things they learned of what the person did. And some people hold the grudges straight through the phases. They're not letting it go. And then some of them remind you of the grudges that they hold. Even though you apologize and you thought it was in the past, they hold it still. That's right. That is what it has to be. So, grudging is one, and reminding persons of things that you thought would have been forgotten. That is the resurrection of the dead. And you have to be careful about those resurrection of the dead, things that take place. So I want to give you what John Gottman is his name, who wrote a book on relationships. Gottman calls it the 4 horsemen. He says one of these 4 horsemen, these 4 things are in the relationship, there's a 90% chance the relationship will fail. Some of you all who have been following my program would recall me saying about these 4 horsemen. So I'm going to give it again because some of you brain and no whole thing too long. Alright? Let me see what Patsy King is saying. Patsy is saying, do men really change because men don't like to take wrong, and they will go down dying with not accepting the wrong until it's too late when everyone realizes who they are? Alright, so I ain't gonna argue with you, Patsy King, because I think generally that's why men do come in for counseling. The woman would say we need to go in for get help, and he will say no man could tell me how to run my life. So yes, that is true. And so, but when it reaches crisis, they tend to come in. So I will take what you are saying there very dispassionately. You are correct. And that happens to be because of the ego. A man is loyal to his ego. anything that makes him look less than a perfect man, anything that makes him look lower in the eyes of himself and others, he would likely reject it and defend himself against it. So, but it doesn't mean that all men are in that state. There are some men that are reachable, and there are some men who are unreachable. How to say? Can we say that mainly it is unrealistic expectation and dreaming for much too long? Yeah, because some people stay in the dream phase too long, that even if they're watching the red flags taking place, they're still dreaming. They do a disservice to others, to themselves. Oh, Charmaine is responding to Patsy. When men don't listen, they're doing a disservice to themselves. That's right. Hey. Okay. All right. So, thank you all for your feedback. I appreciate it. So these are the 4 horsemen that Gottman said, once that is in the relationship, it is a 90% it will fail. And that happens in phase 3 of most relationships. Number 1, criticism. When you have somebody keep criticizing you, they always have some fault to raise, something that they're not happy about, something that annoys them. That is all that they could give you day in, day out. Very few times they are telling you something that is praiseworthy. Very few times they have pleasantries in them, on their lips. It is all about how insufficient you are. Whether it is from the man telling the woman or the woman telling the man, because both people usually criticize each other terribly, call each other names, etc. And that is when we get into contempt. Contempt is the second thing. Criticism is one. Contempt is the next one, where we insult one another, say some of the most brutish things, and expect to have sex with them after. You understand me? So, Gottman saying that can't work. That relationship is on its deathbed. So, criticism, contempt. Thirdly, some people get to the point after they have argued so much. They get to a point, makes no sense to argue. They shut down. Now they are shutting down for their own sanity, and they are shutting down in order to be able to keep the peace. But you know, shutting down also prevents you from solving the problem. Because you're not prepared to talk, so you're not prepared to negotiate. You're not prepared to be able to discuss. And that is the difficulty whenever we quarrel too much, criticize too much, contempt and insult each other too much. One person is going to shut down sooner or later. And that is to be expected. And because they have shut down, you no longer have access to that person to elicit their cooperation for a solution. So, and once you see a woman stop talk, trust me, that is when she's at the most dangerous state. She's about to make some big decisions that may very well shock you. A quiet woman who says nothing, especially if she used to talk a lot, nag and quarrel and so on, once she hush up, don't you ever think that for a moment, she learned she lesson now. She ain't talking. So now I could get peace and quiet. You ain't in for no peace and quiet yet. That is when the war now starts. You may very well come home and she gone. Anyway, but it is at a point of frustration that a woman shuts down. How many I gave you all for the 4 horsemen? Criticism, contempt, stonewalling or shutting down. Defense. Every time your spouse comes to talk to you about something that they are not happy about, you defend it. You're not listening to them. You're not sitting down and saying to yourself, well, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that's how I used to come across to you. I didn't realize that's how I talk to you. But I appreciate you telling me, and so on. it is always some defense. Well, if you didn't carry on so, I would have never behaved so. It's you started it first. That is defense. You're not allowing yourself to be able to see, listen, and sit down to take in what the person is saying. And once you are defending something, it means therefore that you have not seen what the person is saying. You don't have to agree with it, but at least listen to it. And whatever it is they have said, how you come across to them, be prepared to address that. You may not intend it, but that is how it came across to that person. So get a solution, you've got to therefore address it. Yeah? Simple as that. Let me see what me get. Thank you, Patty said, true talk. Alright. Heather Atkins, that's why it's important to have quiet times together where you both have deep conversation. Like, are you truly happy in this relationship? Good question to ask in a relationship, Heather. Absolutely. What can I do to make a home comfortable? Nice question also. Yeah? We are not perfect. We will strive to get there. Every now and then, my spouse and I do that. That is doing a relationship audit. Thank you, Heather. That's a relationship audit. You're checking to see what currency left in the relationship and how you could now increase your savings in that relationship. That bond, the savings bond in the relationship. Benton Williams, good evening. Nice to have you. Thank you very much. Welcome and have a seat. Rock and come in, my boy. Right. Where am I now? Patricia Bernard said it's true. Charmaine says she's a shutdown. Well, Charmaine, you have to find a new method. Negative or positive, should life partners engage in being overly critical of each other? No, nobody. Employer to employee, employee to employer should not be engaging in heavy criticism at all. It does nobody any good. I've never heard somebody say, oh my goodness, since this person started to criticize me and started to pull me down and started to make me look shame and so on, I have loved the person so much, we get along so much better, the work is now advancing in the business. Never. It's always a disaster that is in the waiting. So nope. Should not criticize. But you should raise your issues. Don't go to the extreme otherwise that you say nothing and you're not saying what is on your heart and what is on your mind. Put things on the table, but just don't criticize and quarrel with it. Use the I statement. I sometimes feel neglected. It's different. You just never have time for me, you know. That's an accusation. But when you share your feelings, say, I sometimes feel neglected, you are taking ownership of your feelings. But when you say, you just never have time for me, one is you're using the global statement of never. And that has to be a lie, because how you ended up in the relationship with the person if they've never had time for you? So don't use the global statement. The person is going to feel attacked in communication. They always say, get rid of that global statement. You just never pay any of the bills. You just never help out anywhere here. All of those global statements of the never, always, and so on. Leave that out of the vocabulary. What you could do is say, I wish we spend more time together. I, ownership, wish we spend more time together. It's different from, you never have time for me. Yeah? We never go nowhere. That is attack mode. Okay? So just telling you. Did I cover all? Criticism, contempt, stonewalling, defense. Alright. So I've covered all of those from Gottman. So Gottman said those were the ones that caused people to break up in the relationship. And that happens at phase 3. The disappointment phase. It is at this disappointment phase that hello, we gotta take a break. I will be right back. I think we're running out of power somewhere. Let me just make sure that we get that back up and running. I did not see that coming.
You've been faithful, Lord. You've been faithful.
Oh Lord, I'm glad you know my name. You set my heart aflame.
Right. So I was saying this one here, the argument for baptism and the one true church. All those who are listening and member of the Church of Christ, you need to get this one. You need to get that. It will help you explain quite a bit. All right. And this one I was just saying that the 7 keys to unlock the mystery of women, helping women to understand themselves and helping men to understand women. I think this one is also a good one. From courtship to marriage, it takes us through the steps of courtship, 5 steps before you even could consider marriage. It will save you a lot of pain, a lot of changing of partners, etc. And as the book gets into marriage, it helps you to get certain key support information of how to sustain your marriage even when the marriage starts going bad. There are some books at the back, some question and answers and so on at the back, so that it would help you to be able to deal with some of your issues. But you go on, if you go there and you pull up Michael A.T. Stewart, now there are so many Michael Stewarts, but Michael A.T. Stewart particularly, Mastering Emotions, Our Emotion, this one put into a more or less a story type narrative concerning our emotions and the need for us to be able to master it and get a hold of our emotions, because that is what is our compass in everything that we do. Alright, this one is living life in balance also. A balanced life is a good life. If your life is off balance, that is what does cause people to make some bad turns in their life, but you can bring it back in balance, and this book is for that. 1 year, 1 day at a time devotional, 1 devotion per day for 365 days. You have both Kindle and paperback online for these books. This one is 7 Keys to Unlock the Mystery of Men. This is an updated edition and one of our better selling books, that one of 7 Keys to Unlock the Mystery of Men. Alright, so I think those are the ones that we want to share. So let's get back to the action now, eh? Yeah. So, where were we? We are talking about the disappointment phase. That disappointment phase is a disappointing phase where people decide to leave, start over again, only to recognize they're just starting the phase from phase 1 again. That is the difficulty whenever you leave your marriage, whenever you leave your relationship. You think that you will pick up from where you left off. No, you're starting from phase 1 with everybody new that you get into. You're going to go into the dream phase again. You're going to go into the learning phase. You will get to know them. And then you're going to hit that disappointment phase because you will learn some things about the person that you did not know. That's why we keep going through the revolving door and having to go it over and over and over again. So I'm trying to help people to stop that and get some deliverance from it. Alright, so quickly as the time progresses, you have the rebuilding phase. If you successfully come through this phase of disappointment, if you are able to rally through that, then you are now able to rebuild. Why rebuild? Because during that disappointment phase, you all said some things that were very hurtful. You all did some things that was very disappointing. Who was unfaithful to who, and who was unfaithful to who, to show the next one how hurtful they was. Who was able to malign a person's name and bad talk them and spread all kind of rumors about them. And then you tell yourself, but listen, I love the person and I want to make this thing work. I want us to settle down and so on. People come to that realization after hurting each other for a number of years, you know. But they're ready to rebuild. And in this rebuilding phase is when they are about to move forward after the disappointment phase, because you're learning to accept what you discover. You are learning to accept that this is who the person is. But when you look at it, you tell yourself, if I stop trying to change the person and learn how to adapt. No, I'm not talking about abuse and all of that. I'm not talking about that. And not every time that you don't have a good, nice conversation, that is verbal abuse. Some people just need some harsh talking to. So don't fool your fat about that. Some people need some harsh talking to. And so that is not abuse. But I'm talking about there are some physical abuse, there are some life-threatening situations that I'm not categorizing this under this rubric at all. But we did do some things that were hurtful. But we can now rebuild. And we can choose to continue the relationship. And some have done that. And say, you know, I really would have liked him to be more romantic. I really would have liked her to have more sex. I really would have liked her to be able to become more respectful and so on. But I will make do with what I have. Right? So the rebuilding phase is critical. Past the disappointment phase. Once you get to the rebuilding phase, then you go to now stage number 5. Stage number 5 is where you have the acceptance phase. Because you have to rebuild all of those pain and hurt. They say, well, listen, let's forget the past. I'm sorry for what I said. I'm sorry for how I treated you. You make up from that in the rebuilding phase. But the acceptance phase is, this is what we have. We have a situation that we don't have full trust in each other. But at least I accept the fact that that took place then, whether it was unfaithfulness in the relationship. But I'm prepared to accept that the person has said sorry and they have demonstrated through consistency that they're not going to continue in that way. I'm not saying to accept the infidelity. I'm saying accept that that is what took place. No, don't miscarry me. They were so if a man is unfaithful, if a woman is unfaithful, I must just stay inside everything and continue. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the trespass that they did trespass in the past, you have accepted those trespass. You are not going to use that to be able to resurrect the dead, hold grudge and remind them of the grudge. You are going to allow that to thing. Have accepted. The person has shown demonstration of change. I'm going to now work with the person. We will work with each other because you have not been very innocent yourself. Don't fool your fat on that. You yourself have done some real things yourself in it. And if in a relationship you thought you never did anything to be able to hurt that relationship, then I know you need counseling. You can't be so perfect. Because if you're so perfect, chances are many of these so-called perfect people, when you check them, they have been through 3 and 4 relationships, leaving each one of them thinking the person they left is imperfect. But you so perfect, and so many people still leaving? No. It's time to check yourself. Alright? And that's a number that you could call up there. 8480-0080. Yeah? Right there. Alright? For private confidential counseling. Alright. So that is rebuilding phase. And then you have the acceptance phase. The acceptance phase is when you tell yourself, okay, right. And then you reach the legacy phase. This legacy phase is when you reach to the point you become a role model. People watch your relationship after years and you say, but them such a nice couple, boy. They together for so long, but you don't know what they went through. During that disappointment phase was harsh for many people. The rebuilding phase was long. But when they have accepted and they meet legacy, they have settled down and their life, they've learned the lessons of life. And you watch that and you think that was an easy road. No, it wasn't an easy road. It took them long to get to that stage. So, but they're now a role model. They prioritize maintaining the bond. That is important to them. They also, at this stage, they enjoy life that they've built together because they've invested in each other and shifting the focus back to the way it's supposed to be, putting the focus on each other and the activities as a couple in the union. Yeah? So those are the 6 crossroads, the 6 junctions, the 6 phases of relationship, my dear people. Alright? So I hope that it was able to help you. We try as much as possible in this program to help people to improve their lot in their relationship. Don't let it waste time. Alright, let me see what comments are there before we come off. Patsy King said, can we actually change a person? Please tell me how. Okay, Patsy, the answer is no, you cannot change somebody, so don't waste your time trying. It is exhausting trying to change somebody because you can't change somebody. The person has to see the need for them to change. Can you influence the person to change? Yes. And let me explain how. You cannot mimic the person's bad behavior to get them to change. I don't know where some people get that. Sometimes you will hear somebody say, you know why I was unfaithful to my partner? It's not that I wanted sex with the other person, but I wanted them to see how much it does hurt. And you think that is a workable method? That's a mistake that people make. That they think if they mimic a bad behavior, it creates a better relationship. So that is competing for the bottom. You have to compete for the top. You have to take it higher. You can influence a person to change by not mimicking their bad behavior, Patsy. Go a bit higher and let them realize you will never stoop to their level. You see, that will let them also feel shame, because when they realize how bad they are and how good you are, a serious level-headed mind will feel their conscience bothering them. The Bible says if you'll heap coals of fire on a person's head if you treat somebody good who treats you bad. That coal of fire is that you're going to let their conscience bother them. So that's what I want to share people, that influence them that way. Another way the Bible says about influencing a person to change, it says a soft answer turns away wrath. The person is vexed, but you answering softly can influence them to change from their wrath. Because if you shout back at a person who's shouting at you, the decibel is going to continue to rise between both of you all, and the quarrel is just going to get worse. But you can influence it by not joining them in that. I hope that helps you, Patsy, and thank you for that question. Curtis, hey boy Curtis, what's up? Hey Curtis, you a new Pollard boy? Anyway, yeah, I'm sure that you heard about him. All schoolmates. These are schoolmates thing here now. They will change their clothes. I'm not too sure what Curtis is referring to. Thank you, Edwin. Edwin said, well put, brother Mike. Can we actually change? Right, okay, well, that's the question that was asked. The blame game cannot be helpful if it fosters new issues. That's right. Heather said, if it's not what you say but how you say it, that doesn't mean you should refrain from dealing with important issues. It's absolutely necessary to bring issues to the table. Just watch the tone in your voice, the expression on your face, and never use belittling words. You can be firm but positive. That's right. No relationship will last unless God is not a part of it. The Bible says the man that builds a house and the watchman that watch it is watching in vain, and except God build the house and except God be the watchman. No relationship will last unless God is not a part of it. Spiritual values or values as guides to a good relationship with your spouse. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Oh, I saw that somebody said that they wasn't hearing me. I hope you're all hearing now. My good friend Kwaku, you come late, Kwaku. You should sit at the back of the class. I'm now seeing you. Yeah? And it's good thing that you wasn't hearing because I would never have heard from you. Okay. Alright, people. This has been nice. Thank you all very much for joining. Next week Thursday. What is it next week Thursday? Hey, this is my birth month, people. Hey, hey. This is my birth month. The 20th. It's a Monday. The day I was born on the 20th was a Saturday. But this time it's going to be a Monday. So you're lucky, because if it was falling on a Thursday, you know, you ain't seeing me or hearing me at all. Alright? So, thank you all very much. God bless you all. I'll see you all on Thursday, God's willing. And I say to you, behave yourselves and put God first in everything that we do. Ciao.
Take the message to the father. This is how we do it, cause we talk the truth.